We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, and now in New Mexico on 1000 KKIM. I'm really honored to have our guest by phone, Phyllis Schlafly, the president and founder of Eagle Forum. Phyllis, you were talking about the Republican Party, and I totally agree. Do you think the Republican Party, this is a subject that we talk about here quite a bit, the minority community, there's a lot of Hispanics here in Kern County and in California. Socially, they should be Republican because they have the same family value ethic we do. They feel the same way about the abortion issue. Yet the minority community is Democrat. Have we dropped the ball as Republicans with the minority community?
No, I think the Republicans have misread the ball. I don't think they have Republican inclinations at all. They're running an illegitimacy rate that's just about the same as the blacks are. And the plain fact is they come from a country where they have no experience with limited government and the types of rights we have in the Bill of Rights. They don't understand that at all. You can't even talk to them about what the Republican principle is. What the Republicans should be doing is reaching out to our own American citizens in the black community. And I'll tell you, we just had a fantastic victory just last week. You know how democratic, what a blue state California is.
Yes.
Well, Illinois is just the same. Enormous majorities in the legislature and the whole government. And we just kept them from passing same-sex marriage.
Oh,
and the
great.
reason is because we reached out to the black people. And there was a wonderful black pastor in Chicago who did robocalls for us. And they adjourned the other night without passing gay rights. It's one of the fantastic victories. I bet you didn't read about it in your paper.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Surprise, surprise.
But I bet you it's going to be on one of your commentaries that are on 600 stations or the 90 stations. Actually, you're on 90 stations, but you appear 600 times per week, right? Your commentaries do.
Well, my daily's on 600. That's 3 minutes a day. But I have a Saturday live show on that's on about 90 stations.
Wow, fantastic!
And it's fun. You enjoy this, don't you?
Oh yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Well,
and talk radio is going to save our country because it's the only place where we really get the truth out.
I think so. Well, for me, I get to talk to people like you. I mean, what could be better than this? I mean, it's fantastic.
Right.
So, I wanted to talk to you though about the amnesty issue. I know that's an issue that's important to you. Marco Rubio lately has been chastised quite a bit. Do you think that's fair for him? Is he on the right side of this issue?
No, he's really leftist. He's really reneged on most of what he said before he got into the act. He never should have joined this gang of 8. The bill is practically written by Schumer, who's a New York leftist, and they betrayed everything that they promised. There's no border security in it at all. It's all amnesty. There's no locking down of and using the law to e-verify people applying for jobs. There's no strict dealing with the people who come and overstay their leave. They haven't ever enforced that law that requires the tracking of the people on visas. We have a law that says if you show up at the border, you've got to prove that you will never be a public charge. They pay no attention to that. They're coming in and going right on welfare. The Boston Bombers family got $100,000 worth of welfare benefits.
Amazing.
So when they fraudulently came in as refugees, and the whole refugee program is a tremendous fraud. And this 1,000-page bill that the Gang of 8 wrote is a betrayal in every line.
Incredible. Phyllis, I have to share with you my story. My stepfather was half German, half Czech, and his dream was always to come to America. So after the war, the only place you could come to was Canada or Colombia. So he went to Canada, learned English. He was a tool and die maker, became a Canadian citizen, and came over as a Canadian citizen. So the whole process took him about 12 years to do it right by the numbers the way it should have been done. And the day he was eligible to become an American citizen, he did. And my mom and dad never taught us any other language than English. He said, you're living in an English country, you learn English. And, I give him credit for that, but, God bless his soul. I know he's rolling over in his grave looking at all this because he was one of those people that did it the way the system was designed to work.
That's right, and I've had so many friends who said when they got off the boat and went to Ellis Island, their parents said, now we're in America, we're going to speak English. And their kids went into the public schools and they learned English and they came home and taught their parents. And that's the way they assimilated into our society. But this Gang of Eight bill, it doesn't do anything to enforce the teaching of English. It'll make us into a bilingual country, and if you've been to any of those bilingual countries, you know what a disaster they are.
Well, Phyllis, it's funny because, I spent my first 11 years in Canada, and I still to this day think of a Campbell's soup can with English on one side and French on the other. It's frustrating.
In Canada, about 5 years ago, Canada only spoken two. They had a referendum, and one state just almost within a fraction of a point seceded from Canada.
Quebec,
over the language issue.
Yeah, Quebec, yeah. So, you see what's going wrong there. And the English-speaking part of the country is now so fed up with it, they're telling them, go. And I think eventually it'll get to the point here where, we're going to get to the point where the average person is going to say, we've had enough of this. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, but something has to give.
I had a good friend who was in one of the big oil companies and was assigned to Belgium. And he said when he moved in charge of this company in Belgium, they said, well, now, of course you'll have to have 2 employees for each job, each important job, because we speak 2 languages here, and you just have to have 2 people for every job.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, we don't want to be a country like that.
No.
Listen, for your listeners can go to my website and get further information. It's eagleforum.org, eagleforum.org. It's got a ton of information, and my latest book about Obama's war on religion is called No Higher Power, and it's been great visiting with you, but I think I'm going to have to go to my next appointment now.
Okay, Phyllis, thank you so much for the time. I really, really appreciate it, and God bless you, and thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us over the years. And
you keep talking on talk radio. That's going to save our country.
Thank you, Phyllis. God bless you. Boy, that was a great conversation. She, as I was saying earlier, she meant a lot to me. I wrote a book about 22 years ago called Downfall, Secularization of a Christian Nation. And at that time, Joe Ellen Allen was the chairman and president of Eagle Forum here in California. And what they did is they saw the book. They liked the conservative aspects of the book and talking about our forefathers and what they really intended for our nation. And they backed it and sold it for me and actually got me on some radio shows and some television shows. So they were instrumental in my career early on as far as my introduction to radio and to television. So, she's been fighting the battle for a long time. She's, God bless her heart, she's 89 years old, and she still, at 89, is fighting this fight. And she's still the president and, as I say, the founder of Eagle Forum. So she's been a great warrior out there for a long time, and she's not looking at slowing down. I mean, this lady just keeps on going and going and going. But one of her prime issues has been the pro-life issue. She wrote a book in 1964 that was a blockbuster at that time, called "A Choice, Not an Echo," and that was a very instrumental book in the pro-life movement at that time. Before there really was a pro-life movement. This is before Roe v. Wade came out in the early 70s. So she's been a warrior out there for a long time. She has written 20 books since then. So I highly, highly, highly recommend going to her website, eagleforum.com, and looking at her new book, No Higher Power. It's about Obama's war on religious freedom. And there's no way you can look at this and not see that there is a war going on religious freedom and on traditional values. And it's something that she's right. The church, conservative groups, we do have to wake up to this, because this is not going to go away, folks. This is something that we have to look at every day and take care of. We will see you in 167 hours on 1180 KERN.